You typed a message, deleted it, and typed it again. Then you stared at your phone like it owed you an answer. You told yourself you were being cool. You were not being cool. You were counting minutes between their replies. You were rereading old texts for hidden meanings. You were checking their profile picture like it might change. And somewhere in all that checking, the person you love started to feel a little further away. That is the strange cruelty of love. The tighter you hold, the more it slips. The harder you chase, the faster it runs. Tonight, we are going to sit with that quietly. Not to shame you and not to fix you, but to understand what is really happening underneath. Because the truth is warmer and stranger than most people realize. Chasing love is not a character flaw, it is a nervous system trying to feel safe. And once you see the pattern clearly, something in you can finally soften. That softening, oddly enough, is what love has been waiting for. Here is what we are going to unpack together. Why chasing feels like love, but is usually fear wearing love's clothes. Why the person you chase almost always pulls away, even when they care. And how to stop chasing without becoming cold, distant, or fake. None of this is about playing games. Games are exhausting, and they never build the kind of love you actually want. This is about something quieter. A way of loving that does not cost you your peace. Let's start with the moment chasing usually begins. It rarely starts with the other person. It starts inside you with a small feeling that says, they might slip away. That feeling is old, older than this relationship, older than you probably realize. It is the part of you that once waited for a parent to come home, or a friend to reply, or a love that felt just out of reach. Your body remembers those small moments of uncertainty, so when love feels a little unsure, an alarm goes off inside you. The alarm does not say you are anxious, it says do something or you will lose them. So you send another message. You suggest another plan. You reread their last words for warmth. You call it love, but it feels a lot like panic dressed in soft clothes. Here is what is really going on. Your chasing is not about them at all. It is about the fear of what their silence might mean about you. That is a painful sentence to read. Sit with it for a moment. Because once you see that, the whole chase starts to look different. Now let's talk about what your chasing does to the other person, even a kind one who genuinely likes you. Love needs a little space to grow. Not distance, not coldness, but breathing room. When you chase, you accidentally fill all that space with your worry. They stop feeling the gentle pull of missing you because you never let them miss you. They stop feeling chosen because your attention feels like a need, not a gift. And slowly, quietly, they start pulling back, not because they stopped caring, but because they cannot find themselves in the relationship anymore. This is the twist most people miss. The person who pulls away is often not rejecting you. They are trying to breathe. And the more they pull back, the more you chase. And the more you chase, the more they pull back. It is a loop, and it hurts on both sides. Here is the beautiful part. Once you understand the loop, you can step out of it. Not by pretending you do not care, not by playing hard to get, but by learning to hold your own hand for a minute. Let me show you what that looks like in real life. Imagine you send a message and they do not reply for a few hours. The old version of you would spiral. The new version of you takes a breath and asks, what am I actually feeling right now? Usually, the answer is not, they do not love me. The answer is, I feel small when I am not sure where I stand. That is a very different sentence, and it belongs to you, not to them. You can soothe that feeling. You cannot make them text faster, but you can be gentler with yourself while you wait. That small shift is the whole secret. Chasing is looking outside for the calm you need to give yourself. If you have ever felt like a burden for wanting closeness, this next part is for you. Wanting love is not too much. Wanting reassurance is not too much. Wanting to feel wanted is deeply human. The problem is not the wanting. The problem is when the wanting turns into constant testing. Testing sounds like, if they really loved me, they would. Testing sounds like, let me pull back and see if they notice. Testing is chasing in disguise. It is still your fear driving the car. Real security does not need to test. It asks, it shares, it listens. That is a huge difference, and it will change every relationship you have from here on. Now, here's something a lot of people do not want to hear, but it might set you free. The person you chase the hardest is often the person who feels the least safe to you. You are not chasing them because they are the love of your life. You are chasing them because your body senses distance, and distance feels like a puzzle you must solve. Safe love feels quieter. It does not spike your heart rate every hour. It does not leave you refreshing your phone. Sometimes, when people finally meet steady love, they call it boring. They mistake calm for a lack of chemistry. But calm is not boring. Calm is the sound of your nervous system finally trusting someone. If you have only known chaotic love, calm can feel unfamiliar. Give it time. Do not run from it. Let's talk about something else that often hides underneath chasing: the story you tell yourself about worth. Somewhere along the way, many of us learned that love has to be earned. We learned to perform, to please, to be easy, to be impressive, to be whatever kept them close. So when love feels uncertain, we go back to that old survival plan. We try harder, we give more, we chase. But love that has to be earned is not love. It is an audition that never ends. Here is a quiet truth to sit with. The right person will not need you to chase them to prove your worth. Your worth is not on trial. Read that again if you need to. If this is starting to feel personal, take a breath. You are not alone in this. Millions of people are living the exact loop you are living tonight. If any of this sounds like your story, share a gentle word in the comments. Sometimes just naming it out loud helps another person feel less alone. Now let's talk about what to do instead of chasing. Because stop chasing is not enough. You need something warm to walk toward. The first shift is this: turn your attention from them back to your own life. Not as punishment, not as a strategy to make them miss you, but because your life deserves your attention. When your days are full of things you actually care about, love stops being an emergency. You can want someone deeply and still enjoy your Tuesday evening without them. That balance is where real attraction quietly grows. The second shift is honesty over strategy. Instead of pulling back to seem mysterious, try saying the true thing in a calm voice. I've been feeling a little unsure lately. Can we talk about it? That sentence is scarier than chasing and much more powerful. Chasing hides your feelings behind actions. Honesty lets your feelings walk in the front door. The right person will meet that honesty with care. The wrong person will make you feel foolish for having feelings. Either way, you get information you can actually use. The third shift is learning to sit with the ache instead of running from it. That ache of not knowing. The ache of waiting. The ache of loving someone who might not choose you. Chasing is what we do to avoid that ache. We move so we do not have to feel. But every time you sit with the ache instead of acting on it, something inside you grows stronger. You start to trust that you can survive uncertainty, and a person who can survive uncertainty is a person who can love without clinging. That is not coldness, that is freedom. Here is something to remember on the hard nights. Chasing feels like love because it is loud, and love is often quiet. We were raised on stories where love means grand gestures and dramatic pursuits. Real love has some of that, but mostly it looks like small, steady choices. Choosing to text back kindly. Choosing to show up when it matters. Choosing to speak honestly even when it is uncomfortable. Those small choices made over time build a bond no chase can create. Let's zoom out for a moment. Why does chasing push love away so consistently? Because love needs two whole people, not one whole person and one anxious one. When you chase, you are handing your center of gravity to someone else. Your mood depends on their reply. Your peace depends on their tone. Your worth depends on their attention. That is a heavy thing to hand another human being. Even someone who loves you cannot carry it well. They start to feel responsible for your emotions. Then they start to feel trapped by that responsibility. And trapped people cannot love freely. They can only manage. You do not want to be managed. You want to be chosen. So the work, quietly, is to become someone who has a center of gravity of their own. Not perfectly, not all the time, but enough that love feels like a gift, not a rescue. If you have been chasing someone for a long time, please hear this gently. You are not broken. You are not too much. You are not unlovable. You are a person who learned somewhere that love had to be pursued, or it would disappear. That is a story you can rewrite slowly, one calmer moment at a time. Every time you pause before sending that extra message, you rewrite it. Every time you comfort yourself instead of demanding they do it, you rewrite it. Every time you choose your own peace over the chase, you rewrite it. And here is the strange, sweet twist. When you stop chasing, love often stops running. Not always. Sometimes the person walks away, and that is painful. But it is also honest information. They were not going to stay anyway. You just get to keep your dignity while you learn that. But often, when you stop chasing, something shifts. The person on the other side feels the space you left, and they start to lean in. Because now there is room for them to want you instead of just receive you. That is not manipulation, that is nature. Love needs a little sky to fly in. Let's bring this home with a few soft reminders you can carry with you. If you have to chase them to keep them, you are not in a relationship, you are in a performance. If your peace disappears every time they go quiet, the work is not to make them louder. The work is to steady yourself. If love feels like an emergency all the time, it is not love yet. It is your nervous system asking for safety in the wrong place. The right love will feel a little boring at first and deeply calming later. Let it. You are allowed to want closeness. You are allowed to ask for it. You are allowed to walk away when it is not offered back. None of that is chasing. All of that is choosing. Here is something to remember. You do not have to earn love by exhausting yourself. You just have to be honestly, openly you and let the right person walk toward that. The people meant for you will not need to be caught. They will meet you halfway. Tonight, if you are holding your phone and wondering whether to send that message, try something new. Put the phone down for a moment. Take a slow breath. Ask yourself what you actually need. Sometimes you will still send the message, and that is okay. Sometimes you will realize you just needed a hug from yourself. Either way, you are learning. You are becoming the kind of person love can actually stay with. And that is a beautiful, quiet win. If any of this reached you tonight, take a moment to be kind to yourself before you scroll away. Notice that you are the kind of person who wants to love well. That matters more than you think. If this resonated with you, follow along for more gentle, honest conversations about love, connection, and the quiet psychology of the heart. Consider subscribing so we can keep showing up in your feed on the nights you need it most. And leave a like if this felt like a warm hand on your shoulder. It helps more people find these words when they need them. You are not too much. You are not behind. You're just learning a softer way to love. Take a breath. Set the phone down. Trust that what is meant for you does not need to be chased. It only needs to be met gently when it finally arrives.